Welcome to Season 3 of the Twendé Podcast. Twendé, meaning let's go in Kiswahili, is an accelerator focused on equipping Tennessee-based Black and Brown founders with the resources needed to grow and scale their businesses. I'm M. Wilder, Twendé Program Manager here at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, and your host of the Twendé Podcast. We're grateful for support from the David and Rebecca Clements family with additional funding from the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. Thank you for believing in our mission. For past seasons and our latest episodes, visit ec.co/Twendé Podcast. Let's go. What's good, everybody? Today we are here with Dr. Isaac Addae, Small and Minority Business Liaison with the Metro Government of Davidson County. Isaac, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Em. Appreciate you for having me. Let me just start by saying kudos to you for the work that you do in Nashville. I remember when they announced that you were moving here to take over the Twendé role, I was really excited. The Twendé program to me is one of the most impactful things happening at DC. And, you know, we've been able to work closely together. And I just want you to know I'm proud of your leadership. I'm proud of you for advocating for founders of color and for moving to Nashville from the Midwest and taking on this challenge. I know that wasn't easy.
No, I really appreciate that. And I mean, you were one of the first conversations I had, and a big signal, a big green flag as to being new to this city and being in the right place and the right space here at the EC doing this work. So let's jump in.
Sure.
When you think about your journey, which we'll get into,
Mm-hmm.
who are your starting five? Who are the five folks or five entities in your life that keep you progressing professionally and personally?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, when I think about my starting five, my point guard is God, 100%. I'm a man of faith. I'm led by faith. I try to ground everything I do in purpose and in God's will. And so he's running the show. Sometimes I get in the way, but for the most part, he's the point guard. My grandmothers who are deceased, I think about them all the time. And it's been many years since they've left this earth, but yet they're always still with me. They're like my guardian angels. I never met my grandfathers, but I did get to know my grandmothers, and I feel like those two women have been just protecting me, watching me, cheering me on. I see them in my visions and my sleep. They're always there. So my two grandmothers, and so, you know, that they're the other two. My son gives me a lot of purpose, a lot of energy, a lot of focus, a lot of just reason for being. He'll be 14 this year, my son Kwame. And when I look at him and how he's developing, it helps me understand that my life has a deeper meaning in that it helps position him for what's possible. I'm showing him what's possible, right? I'm carrying the torch, making this light shine as bright as possible so that I can hand it off to him. And so I think that that's just a big component of what I'm able to do all the time, is just thinking about my child and how I want his life to evolve and what I want to be able to show him in terms of setting an example. And then I'd have to say, you know, just my core family and friends, right? They make up the remainder of that starting five. I have a great support system of just longtime friends who always reach out. They're always so encouraging when I'm in my best moments, when I'm in my worst moments. They're always consistently there saying, Isaac, you're that one. We want you to keep going. You know, from my parents to my siblings to my close friends, immediate and extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, they're all praying for me. They're always thinking about me. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing.
I love it. And also really identify with yesterday, on a personal note for me, was like the first 1 year since my father's passing. So really, just pausing to think about the way, I think you're one of the first folks that really kind of shouted out and given a nod and an acknowledgement of just ancestors and folks that are no longer kind of with us in a physical sense, and what they still continue to pour into us.
Sure.
So thank you for that.
The ancestral energy is real because we didn't get here without what they endured, good and bad. And so I believe that we all carry our ancestors and ancestral energy. Some of it very positive, but there can be some toxic ancestral energy there too that we have to work through that, sometimes we can be hindered by. And so I'm aware of my own journey through this life and the need to heal in any way possible so that the ancestral energy that I'm passing along is overwhelmingly positive. Yeah.
Thank you. So, I mentioned your work, obviously, full-time job with Metro.
Yeah.
Let's go back a bit.
Sure.
Can you kind of paint a picture, take us through? I know you also wear just multiple hats.
Mhm.
So talk to us a little bit about your kind of professional, personal journey, those things weaving together to kind of bring you to the space that you are in now.
Yeah, sure. When I talk to people about my journey, just overall, as I talk about it, it seems to me like it's just a very random experience, but it's all been very intentional. And everything that I've experienced along my journey was cumulative. One thing led to this, which led to this, which led to this. My path has not been a direct path. It's not been a linear path at all. It's been curvilinear. It's been all over the place. The child of immigrants from Ghana, West Africa. I was born and raised in the southern United States. And I grew up as a child that lived in a home where everything was about Ghana, and outside of the home, everything was about being Black. And I walked in that duality every day. And I often didn't really understand the duality and how to navigate it. And so for me, growing up as a child, I struggled with identity and who was I? Am I Ghanaian? Am I Black? I now know that I'm both, and I'm powerful in that. But when I was younger, I wasn't really sure, and I couldn't really fully lean into one or the other. Had always had an interest in science and technology, and have always enjoyed people and systems and just understanding people and systems. And so that led me to Tennessee State University. In 1999, I moved to Nashville to study computer engineering. Stayed right after undergrad and got my master's degree in systems engineering. And I started my career at IBM in Austin, Texas, building chips. And my goal was to climb the corporate ranks and become a tech executive. I had a great career opportunity in a great company in the mid 2000s. And a year into my career at IBM, I remember thinking, wow, I'm so honored to be in this role. I spent 7 years learning and training to be an engineer. I'm a year into my job, but I wasn't fulfilled. And that was the first time that I felt that sense of deep disappointment because I had worked so hard to get to a certain place, but then I wasn't fulfilled with it. And I realized I can be many things, but I want to be the things that bring me joy. And so, I stayed in the engineering field for about 7 or so years, but along that journey, I had to discover what my deeper sense of purpose was. And so started working on a doctorate in business while I was living in the DC area at Morgan State University. That led to an academic opportunity at Tennessee State. So I moved back to Nashville in 2015, became a professor in the TSU College of Business, and that allowed me to now start to really move deeper into who I was and let my gifts start to kind of show themselves. And so I taught business strategy, entrepreneurship, but I started to get really deeply embedded in the community, coaching founders, being on nonprofit boards, and just helping drive a sense of community in Nashville because I felt that was missing. And it worked. I mean, it worked. I became, it wasn't overnight, but within the 9 years that I've been back in Nashville, I've become a person that I never imagined that I would be. And I occupy a place in our community that I never dreamt of. And that is one of, a connector, an influencer, and a leader. Along that academic journey, I started doing some consulting work with Pivot Tech School, helped them get some major wins in the business. That led to me taking on a full-time role as chief strategy officer. So I stepped away from academia, or so I thought. Within 6 months, I was being pulled back into the academic space. So, I still have maintained some teaching roles, not full-time. I teach an MBA course in entrepreneurship at Vanderbilt, and, was doing the pivot thing and just enjoying helping build the company. The mayoral role came about because I've been friends with the mayor since 2016, and I served as his treasurer for his 2019 election. And so he asked me to serve as his treasurer when he started to consider running for mayor. And that journey just unfolded into this beautiful experience that led him to winning in 2023 and me having an opportunity to join his economic development team and support the work of small and minority business engagement. And so, that's a long story short. It was not a straightforward path. I could have never predicted that I'd be doing what I'm doing today. I don't even think I knew all of this was possible. I didn't know it was even an option. It just happened, but it happened in a way that it was supposed to happen. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm so thankful.
Yes. Yes. I mean, not that you need me to validate or affirm that, but I believe that just in the way that I've gotten to experience you and the fact that I see you absolutely everywhere. So speaking to just the current role, what is like a week in the life? What is just to give folks a real clear understanding of your role? Because look, I remember when I think we had a call when it was first announced that you had this role. And I know all the people in community who you've built relationship with, who've relied on you for so many different things, entrepreneurs you've coached, were hitting that cell phone.
For sure.
Excited.
For sure.
Rightfully so, right?
Yep.
But can you just talk a little bit let's get into the weeds a little bit about your role and some of your goals? Yeah, give us a picture of what is a week in the life.
Sure.
And what are some of your goals and aspirations and things that you're aiming to accomplish during your time with Metro?
Yeah, thank you for asking me that. So just to give folks context, so Mayor O'Connell took office in fall of 2023, and his campaign promise and the things that he was, focused on were just helping Nashville become a city that all people feel as though they can live in and thrive. And so I'm on the economic development team, and economic development is about helping communities grow and creating opportunities for businesses to thrive, right? And so that looks like workforce development. That looks like small business engagement. That looks like engaging with large corporations that are thinking about creating a space in Nashville for a corporate headquarters or just having a business presence here. My role specifically has been designed to where I interface with the small and minority business community. There are a lot of businesses in this region. I've read that it's over 50,000 businesses in this region. Some of those businesses do business with the government through procurement, right? Because the city spends a lot of money on different things, and many small businesses are a part of that spend. And so I help support businesses that are working with Metro or seeking to work with Metro to help navigate that process of becoming a vendor through our procurement system and just supporting issues or challenges that come up along the way there. Most of the time when businesses are looking to move to Nashville or investors are looking to, find companies to invest in locally in the market, they somehow end up at the mayor's office. And so much of that traffic will get directed to me. So I've, taken many calls and meetings with businesses that are looking to grow and scale here or investors that are looking for startups to get access to connect into in the city. And so that's another phase of my role. We have many chambers of commerce in Nashville, and all of those chambers of commerce are doing the important work of supporting our small business community. So I have been engaging with the various chambers, understanding their programming, helping support them where we can from a city perspective, and just making sure that they have the things that they need to thrive in their overall mission. And so those are just some of the ways in which I show up in this work. Because of my background in academics, I've been engaged with our academic community as well, because there are a lot of efforts there related to entrepreneurship and small business growth. So I've been engaged with the support resources. I serve on the Entrepreneurship Center board, and so I'm engaged in that way as well, helping advocate citywide for businesses, helping founders find the EC, understand the programs here. I'm an entrepreneur in residence with Twendé. So just all of these things kind of overlap. But being in the mayor's office allows me to have this top level view of what's happening across the market and find ways to direct traffic resources and support to founders and small businesses so that they can grow, because that's our ultimate goal. We want these businesses in our region to grow in revenue, scale in size, employ more people, create more jobs, which has a longer term impact on our community. So that's my job in what I do at a high level. I enjoy it. There aren't very many typical days because I'm in the office having internal conversations and meetings. I'm out of the office in the community, attending events, speaking at events, or representing the mayor at events. Meeting with founders and understanding their challenges and helping them find resources, capital, networks, support. It's a very diverse role. No days are the same, but every day it's still focused on how do we support the business community. That's what the overall mission is about.
Got you.
Yep.
And our Twendé founders this year in the 2024 cohort, I believe last year too, have had the pleasure of hearing directly from you in our sessions. But could you kind of paint a little bit of a picture for and maybe speak to some of the coaching that you've done or use a real life example for founders who are maybe just pretty early in their business, a year in.
Yep.
They're really looking to grow and scale, as you talked about. And they're looking to potentially figure out if there is a way to partner, contract with Metro. What would be your kind of advice to that young in business founder who's really looking to potentially contract with Metro?
Yep.
What types of things do they, they obviously need to have some of their finance information out of a notepad and into somewhere more official. Like what are the things? How do you get ready?
Yeah, great call.
To actually be able to execute.
Yeah, sure. One thing I'll say to anybody that's building a business in the region is that getting involved with the government from a procurement perspective is a great opportunity to grow, because the city spends, the state spends, the airport authority spends, the Department of Transportation spends, and they all have programming that's focused on helping ensure that minorities are able to participate in that spend. That requires you to be registered with these entities. It requires you to be certified as a minority business with these entities. And they all have a step-by-step process. There's opportunities for you to see where money has been spent in terms of past procurement. There's opportunities for you to see the forecasting in terms of what spend is coming up so that you can be positioned. But ultimately, have a business registered with the state, have your paperwork in order, and go through that process of becoming a registered vendor. With the city of Nashville, you go through Metro Finance. We have a system called iSupplier. You register through the iSupplier system. The state of Tennessee has an office of GoDBE, Governor's Office of Diverse Business Enterprise. They have a system called Edison. That's their vendor management system. You want to get registered through Edison. There are different certifying bodies in this market that certify you as a small or minority business or diverse business enterprise. The airport certifies, the Department of Transportation certifies, Metro certifies, the state certifies. You want to seek these things to put yourself in position to be able to obtain some of the spend, right? One of the examples that I like to use all the time, and I've talked with him regularly, is Joseph Cole of Culture, Architecture, and Design. Joseph has been actively involved in the city's procurement process. He's been involved in contracting opportunities with the city on smaller scale projects and on larger scale projects, which produce a significant source of revenue for his business in addition to just doing work in the private sector. Government contracting isn't for every business and it's not for everybody, but I do think it's an opportunity for you to grow if it makes sense for your business. Yep.
Understood. Yes, and we've been excited to watch, Joseph's team continue to grow here at the EC, even in the past year or so.
For sure.
Well, Isaac, thank you for your ongoing support of small and minority businesses. I do want to shift a little bit to going back to kind of just some personal pieces. As you think about and hearing your story and things you've accomplished thus far, what and you can tell me if it's a little too early to ask this question, but I'm curious, like what 5, 10
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
I mean, what's next? What are some of your goals and aspirations? Because I'm sure you pull upon so many in the same way you coach, it also gives
Yeah.
you inspiration and
Yeah. Yeah.
direct you. But what's next for you?
So a younger version of me was laser focused on achieving very specific goals. I wanted to get a bachelor's and a master's. I wanted a doctorate. I wanted to obtain a role here. I wanted to achieve this. And I was driven by that. At almost 43, I'm in a space now where I'm almost the opposite of that. I don't have very hardcore specific targets that I'm leaning into because I'm realizing that there's much more possible than I'm even aware of. My life has unfolded in a way where I could have never envisioned that I'd be doing what I'm doing. So now I tell myself, if you have these hard fixed targets, you might be limiting yourself to what's possible. So be open, think bigger. So I'm in a space now where there's, opportunity everywhere. There's things that I feel and see that I'm capable of doing in the future, but I'm really, really focusing in on making sure that I'm being led to that and I'm not chasing that because I've been really good at chasing goals and achieving goals. Now I'm more focused on being led to things. What I feel like I'm being led to is increased impact in the community. I don't know specifically what that looks like in 5 years. I'm just being honest, but I do see me being able to scale my ability to impact our local business community and create opportunities and resources for women, minority, immigrant owned businesses. I see that very clearly. I can't tell you what vehicle that is that's going to present that, but I definitely see that. I see myself leaning in and using my voice and sharing my story and my perspective and my experiences in a way that empower people. I don't know what vehicle that is though, but I see a vision of myself in the future using my voice in an elevated way to inspire people, help them understand what's possible, help them know that they can overcome anything and still get to greatness. I see myself engaging with our youth more in a more intentional way. I also see myself doing more in my ancestral homeland in Ghana and leading, in some ways there and helping create a sense of community and create opportunities for the community there too. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm just sharing with you these are the visions that I have for my future. And I'm at a point now where I see those visions. I believe that they will come to fruition, and I'm just going to allow the journey to unfold in a very organic way. So I don't know what I'm going to be in 5 years, but I do know that those are the things that I'll be doing.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And I have a deep appreciation for letting life happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still moving with intention because you're learning, you're living in the moment.
Right.
So, and you know for a fact that in 5 years you'll be maybe a little bit of a different person, and you'll have this what am I trying to say? You'll have pulled from so many things because you're so
Right.
present,
Right.
and you have a deep understanding of what you're currently doing.
Yep.
And the way that you move with intention, and so you're just going to be able to pull from so many experiences to really think intentionally about
Yep.
what's next rather than just jumping to a goal. So I think that's probably, I feel like you articulated it a lot better than I would have, but that's probably how like I strive to move too.
Yeah. I think we should all strive to move that way, but I think it's difficult because I don't think that's the way that society indoctrinates us to think about life and move through life. We're very, goal, destination, target driven. And I've been that, and I understand now why it's important. You have to have a sense of vision. But I think that sometimes we can get stuck on the how when really the focus should just be on the why. And when you have clarity on the why, it doesn't really matter the how. The how is going to come. When I was younger, I was laser focused on the how. How am I going to get here? How am I going to get there? Now it's, I know why I'm who I am. I know what I'm moving toward. The how is going to come. I don't even have to worry about it. And the less that I've worried about the how, the faster things have started to accelerate for me. And if I'm being honest with you, I look at my life right now and I'm often shocked, like, how did I get here? And when I see the things that are coming my way, it's like, what is happening? But I've also just literally taken my hands off the wheel and I got in the back seat and I said, God, wherever you going, that's where we going. Sometimes I don't even want to go to those places, but it's just like, all right, that's where we going. I'm along for the ride.
That's what's up. So, wanna wrap with just a question and thinking about, again, you shared your story, thinking about all the different hats that you wear.
Mhm.
You're a father. Like,
Mhm.
I have 2 littles. I know it's parenting is that's a whole nother episode. But how do you, maintain balance? Like what are you, I think that's the other piece too. We talk about, I think it's Mental Health Awareness
Yeah,
Month
for
too.
sure. For sure. Yeah, May. Yep.
Happy May.
Yep.
How do you, to ensure that you're able to thrive in all the spaces that you and all the movement that occurs in your role and in life, how do you attempt to kind of maintain balance, and what are you doing for you?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's something that I have wrestled with throughout my career, and in past years, I think I've dialed in what works for me because of what I've been called to do and who I've been called to be. It requires a lot of energy to be expended engaging and connecting with people and managing relationships, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to do that. But it also means that I have to be very intentional about pouring into myself because I'm always pouring out, right? So how do I pour within? I try to clear my head with walking or running in some form almost daily. I go for a walk at 10 p.m. now that it's nice outside in the evenings, or I'll go for a jog, or I'll get on my bike. That has helped me just find that clarity and that peace of mind. Staying physically active. I enjoy reading. I journal. I write. I read scripture every day. I read my devotional. Those are all the just the system level things that I do on a daily basis that help me. I travel when I can. Spend time with my loved ones. Have those conversations and that energy input. But I'll say probably the most significant thing that I did to invest in Isaac last year was, I spent 2/3 of the year in therapy. And that was something that I did in a more intentional way than I had ever done before. And it changed me at the core because it helped me understand me, why I show up the way that I do, why I think and behave and act in the way that I do. And I'm much more aware of myself because of my therapy journey, which means I understand when I need to dial back. I understand when I need to lean in more. I understand when I need to give myself some space to kind of just work through whatever I'm processing. I hadn't been that most of my life. Most of my life, I had just been what people needed me to be when they needed me to be it. Now I'm more present with Isaac and just understanding and aware of who I need to be for me at any given point in time. That's been empowering and liberating. And it's also allowed me to be a better servant to people in my community because I'm taking better care of myself physically and mentally. I'm more present with my mind and my body so I can maneuver the world in a way where I can be more impactful. So instead of trying to pour when my cup is empty, I'm aware of the fact that maybe in this moment I need to pour a little bit more within so that I can be better for the people in the world that I'm trying to serve. So I know that's a long answer, but that's totally where I am right now. And I have hobbies. I love music. I always listen to music. I'm always reading something. I love learning. I love to just wander and explore new places, and I love food, and so like trying out new restaurants. I try to just be simple. Like I'm a simple guy. I think that's one thing that people that know me, say, "Man, he might be a little bougie, but he's simple." I don't have a lot of stuff. I wear the same clothes and shoes I've been wearing for years. I just I think I invest in people more than anything, more than stuff. Yeah.
Well, Isaac, I sometimes I feel like I needed this conversation this morning. Thank you so much. Is there anything before we wrap, like any last comments you want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make? Go ahead. I'll give you the
Yeah,
mic.
sure. I'll share something for the founders that are listening to this podcast. Entrepreneurship is hard. And a lot of people in this point in time in the world that we're living in are having a difficult time with entrepreneurship. Capital is harder to come by. There's a lot happening societally. It's challenging for founders. I've been talking to founders for the past 6 months. It's hard. And so I just want to encourage anybody that is in the founder space and is building a venture to keep going, because there's something about tenacity, resilience, and perseverance that gets revealed in this entrepreneurial journey that, helps you get to that success. But sometimes when you hit that brick wall, or when you feel like you can't get to the next level and you want to quit, those are the moments where you should lean in and push through. And I can acknowledge that it's challenging right now, but we need people building great businesses. There's a lot of problems that entrepreneurs solve in our society. Entrepreneurship is a powerful force. We need more people building businesses and scaling businesses and creating opportunities in our community. So I want to just encourage founders to keep going. Be creative. Think about how you can achieve your goals in unique ways. Lean into impact, network, engage, get involved in your local community. Tell your story. Talk about your journey. Talk about who you are. Founders are often just so laser focused on the day-to-day of managing their business that these things can get missed. But I think planting those seeds of pouring into your community and pouring into people can really bear fruit in the moments where you don't even realize that you need it. I think I've gotten as far as I've gotten in life, not because I'm perfect, but because I've consistently given more than I've asked of people. And I mean, very consistently have just given, even when I didn't have it to give. And I think that that's been the difference maker for me. I've planted so many seeds over so many years that people look at my life and they say, Isaac, man, you got all this stuff going on. It's just all of the goodwill that I poured out consistently that is just now produced these beautiful trees with all of this lush fruit. And I'm just able to reach out and grab the fruit. You know what I mean? And so the day-to-day doesn't help you understand why that's important. But over time, it's a big difference maker. So for anybody building a business today, while you're going through the throes of entrepreneurship, find ways to give back, find ways to impact your community, help another founder, serve on a nonprofit board, give, because I believe the act of giving unlocks power and creates value in an indirect way. And then you'll get it back. It comes back. It's just good karma. Yep. So that's what I would share. And then just for people in general navigating the world, lean into purpose. I think if you have a clear sense of purpose, we're all created to achieve something unique. You understand your why, and be unapologetic about leaning into it. Allow your light to shine bright, even in spaces where it may ruffle some feathers. It may offend some people. It's okay. If you were called to be great, it's your duty to be great. And, you're required to be great if it's within you. So go after it unapologetically.
Yes, to that. Well, Isaac, I'm so grateful to have you in my corner, the EC around Twendé. We are grateful for you and all that you give to the community. And just know that we're in your corner too.
Good.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad that the hot summers didn't send you running back to the Midwest, and that you're hanging with us here in Nashville. And you bring a lot to our community. I don't get to see your work on a daily basis, but I know that you're working to advocate for founders of color, to keep the energy of Twendé alive, to help shine a bright light in the EC. And it matters. We've got a lot of just folks from diverse backgrounds in the Nashville region. You know, our team in the mayor's office is aware of how we can grow the city in an equitable manner. And the EC is also focused on that. And I'm really proud to be a part of the work and help support you all.
Thank you, Isaac. And thank you for your time.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. And thanks to the David and Rebecca Clemens family, along with funding support from Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee for making this podcast possible. From the Chase Studio at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, I'm M. Wilder, inviting you to engage with our Twendé Accelerator program by visiting ec.co/Twendé.